Hello there and welcome. This is going to be a mod showcase, add-on, Bedrock add-on. It's for 1.21.60 and it's going to be free. It's going to be on CurseForge and MCPEDL, and it's going to be all about Equestrian Decor. I felt like Bedrock did not have a lot of decor, so these items are they don't have a lot of functions. The only things that have functions in here is trapdoors. The rest of it is just cute decor for your world, just to kind of spruce up your barns and your equestrian sims. So let's get to it. First up, we have the buckets. Now, a lot of my items in here have a similar crafting procedure, and you'll see what I mean by that later. But you want to craft a white regular bucket first. This is the recipe for the white regular bucket. Once you have a white regular bucket, you're going to want to decide if you want to dye it a color or not. So you can use any of the Minecraft dyes, and you can put it in. You don't even have to have the crafting table, since it's just 2 items. You just put the bucket with the dye and you get a dyed version of the bucket. Now you want to add water to your decor. It does not have function, it just has water in it. It just looks that way, doesn't do anything. You can't put a bucket of water in there or anything. You gotta use the recipes. So once you have your dyed bucket, you add a potion bottle or a water bottle, just a bottle of water, and you'll get a bucket with water. So dye, water bottle, and let's say that you have a color on your bucket that you don't like. You're gonna wanna remove the water first, and you're gonna use a cactus for that. And then once you remove the water, you're going to use a slime ball to strip the color back to white. And then you can repeat the cycle of dyeing it, filling it, removing it all over again. You must do it in that order or it will not work. Let's move on to the hay feeders. This is the hay feeder. You're going to want to craft a white hay feeder. Again, when I was saying that there was going to be kind of a procedure, you're going to always want to craft a white version first. This is the recipe for that. Once you have your empty white hay feeder, you're going to add any of the Minecraft dyes and you're going to get a colored version. You don't need a crafting table. You can just do it in your little crafty menu. You just, anywhere you want to put it, you just put the dye in there and there you go. So now that you have a colored version, you're going to want to add a hay bale to get a full version. So you can take any of the dyed varieties of the empty hay feeder, add a hay bale, and you will get a full hay feeder. If you decide that you want to change the color, you're going to have to remove the hay first, or if you just want to go back to not having any hay for whatever reason, you're going to want to use some blaze powder to burn that hay up, and then you're going to want to use a slime ball to strip the color back to white, and then you can do the cycle all over again. We have some lovely little horse head sculptures. These little sculptures look great on top of planks as like a post. You have the stone variety. This is the recipe for the stone variety. You have a quartz variety. This is the recipe for the quartz variety. You have a deep slate variety. This is the recipe for the deep slate variety. They can be placed in any cardinal direction, as most of these items. These items in this add-on do not have clickable rotation. Personally, I've found that clickable rotating items can be rather annoying. I would just rather simply pick up the item and place it down in the direction facing me, whatever direction that I want it to be in. So these are the feeder bends. And you're going to want to do the same thing as you did for the buckets and the hay feeders. You're going to want to craft a white empty feeder. Once you get the white empty feeder following this recipe, you're going to want to use some dye and dye your feeder so they look like this. Any of the Minecraft dyes, doesn't need a crafting table either. Just stick it with some dye and you'll get a feeder. Now you'll see here that they have different versions as well. So we will get to the full feeder bend. The feeder bend, you can use any dyed variety of the feeder, empty feeder, and add it with this recipe in your crafting table, and you will get a version that has the feed in it. Now, the last block state or block variety that this comes in is the open feeder And you can do that by taking any full feeder bin in your crafting table and adding it with a lever. I don't think you actually need the crafting table. You can probably just do it since it's just 2 items in the regular crafting window, the 4x4, but you can just put it in the crafting table. So a lever will open it. A lever, if you put it back in there, an open one, it will also close it. And it's just for decoration. It's just to change the layout. So if you put these in your barn, you can have different layouts and make it kind of interesting and be creative and change up the look. That's all it's for. It has no function. Can't pull any food out of here or anything like that. Just decor. If you want to strip the color, it's the same thing with the hay feeders. You must remove the food before you can strip the color. So you use some blaze powder to remove the food and then use a slime ball to take the dye off, and it will go back to a white feeder bin. Now we have treat jars. So these are cute little treat jars. They serve no function. They're just a decor block. This is the recipe for the apple variety. And the other varieties follow the same suit of recipe. You just change the apples to carrots and change the carrots to watermelon slices here. So you can use, I believe, I've got the apple version in here. And there's the melon version. And the carrot version, you just put the 2 carrots in the same place. You get it. So here's a scoop, little feed scoop. It's cute. It's a decor item. This is the recipe for the feed scoop. So you'll also notice that there are these cute little shelves that are half shelves. They're not as long as a trapdoor. They're not as long as a full block. They are also included with the add-on. They come in 9 different varieties of wood. The only woods that are missing are bamboo, crimson, and warped. I did not add those varieties in here. I only added the other 9. The recipe for the shelf is, let's see here, is any, oops. Am I in survival mode? Whoopsie. So any shelf, you can craft it with 3 planks and some iron ingots, and it will give you 2 shelves. And there are the different varieties. Now these work great for any items, not just necessarily ones that are in my add-on. You can put anything you want on these shelves. Next up, we have the wooden saddle racks. Now these saddles are based off the vanilla generic Minecraft saddle. They just add a little bit more texture in 3D. They come in the same woods as the shelves do, and this is the recipe for the saddle racks. For your convenience, I did add a recipe in here that is a simple saddle recipe. So you can now craft saddles in this recipe here, in case you don't have any other add-ons or any other way to simply craft saddles. And the reason for this is just because there's a lot of saddle decor. It requires a lot of saddles, so we're just going to make saddles a little bit easier. I also did this for leads as well. So now there is a simple lead recipe, and it's a string, leather, and an iron ingot. Simple, simple. That's just so we can get into the decor and make it a little bit easier. Because like this double saddle uses 2 saddles just to make the double saddle rack. It's sitting on some iron. It's so cute. And this is the recipe for that. Now we have the single halter bridle. These are kind of based on the vanilla Minecraft bridle halters, whatever you want to call them. I believe I called them halters in here, but we'll just call them halters. But this is a single halter. I did make halter racks as well for your tack rooms to add a little bit more, a full tack, just to make it look like you've got a very full tack room. So here is the recipe for those. Now you'll notice that there are slabs here. These ones use slabs. You can use any of the woods, the 9 woods that I mentioned, and you can get the different varieties of halter rack. Same thing goes for the leads, except the leads use planks instead of slabs. You can use any different slab in there. You're going to want to craft the single lead first, which is this following recipe here. Super easy, just a lead and iron ingot. Makes a single lead, and then you've got your varieties. We've got a bunch of little decor to go into. Little stuff, cool, right? Here's some shampoo. The Easter egg is on the label, kind of, maybe. You might spot it. This is the recipe for the shampoo bottles. This is a little tiny finishing brush. This is the recipe for the finishing brush. We have a medicine and a needle. Really cute. This is the recipe for that. And a medicine cabinet. There is another little Easter egg in here. You may or may not see it. There's technically two, but we'll see if anyone noticed it. Put down in the comments below. I did my best on these labels, but I could not put a super high texture in here. I think this pill bottle is adorable. But so here's the recipe for the medicine cabinet. It doesn't serve any purpose. It's not a chest. It can't store anything. It's just there to look cute. Same thing with the wall med kit. There's the recipe. And we have super cute fly spray. We have a hose. And a wet sponge. Now, you do not get these glass bottles back. I do want to mention that in all of my recipes, I do not give you the glass bottles back. This is a hoof pick. A curry comb. A sweat scraper. Oops, I didn't show it. A wall soap pump. And a bar of soap. One of my favorite parts of this pack, plushies. Same thing as the other items in this pack. You're going to want to craft a white plush, a horse plush. And this is the recipe. Once you have your white horse plush, you can use the following dyes to craft the other 9 varieties of coat, base coat. We have the post blocks. Come in the 9 variety of woods as the same as everything else in this add-on. The post blocks are really nice because you can make custom jumps with them and they look super cute. They actually attach to the walls, the Minecraft vanilla walls, pretty well. This is the recipe for the post block, and you get 8 post blocks with this. Pretty sure. Oops. Yeah. And lastly, we have bars. We have gold bars, copper bars, white bars, and black bars. Now, you can use these, just keep in mind that the collision blocks are smaller, so an animal or a horse or whatever would be able to actually get up here and climb, but as long as you put something where they can't climb over, because you would want it to be at least too high after your base block, but other than that, they attach to the walls really well. I like these a lot in stalls. This is the recipe for the bars. Starting with the medium ones here. These are, I believe these are called light bars, medium, dark, and then copper and gold. And then so you'll use light gray, gray, black dye, a gold ingot, and a copper ingot. And I believe you get a little bit more than just one. So every one you craft, you actually get 8. It's a super simple recipe, and it helps a lot to be able to get a little bit more with your material. That's everything in my upcoming add-on Frosti's Equestrian Decor. I hope that you enjoyed seeing this stuff and that you'll give it a chance. It's going to be free. It's going to be on CurseForge and MCPEDL. So thank you so much, and bye-bye.